Welcome to the Empower House podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Bryant, founder of Empower House, the Brunch Club events, business club mentor, twin mum, and coffee enthusiast. I've been hosting my networking event, the Brunch Club, featuring incredible speakers for 7 years. Now I'm bringing the Brunch Club experience and more to your ears. Come and join the community. Find us on Instagram at empower.house. Hello and welcome back to the podcast. I'm Lauren Bryant, your host. Today we're talking about networking for your business. I started the Brunch Club events, my networking event, in 2018 after working from home for a couple of years. I had previously been in automotive where there were lots of people, phones ringing all day. I had a large team, and then I went into financial advice, and again, big office, lots of people, phones going all day, that sort of thing, to then going to work from home where it was just my dog and he's very sweet, but he doesn't chat much and he snores all day. So I decided that what I needed to do was get out there and start networking so I could meet some other business owners who would understand where I was at and I could have some things in common with and that sort of thing. I went to these networking events that were available on the Gold Coast at the time, and I met a lot of people, but I didn't make any connections. There were all of the sales pitches. I would walk out with a fistful of business cards, but I hadn't met anybody and quite frankly felt a bit icky. I felt like I needed to go home and have a shower. I decided that if I was feeling this way, that there would be other people that felt the same way. So I decided to create my own event, something that I wanted to go to, a table that I wanted to sit at. Now, there would be speakers, we would have some brunch, we would have no business cards and no sales pitches, and it would just be time to connect with other business people. It would be on a Friday, and I figured that worst case scenario, I was going to end up on a Friday having a glass of bubbles with my mom, and that wasn't so bad. So I held my first event in 2018, and I decided that if people would keep turning up, then I would keep putting them on. Since then, we now have monthly events on the Gold Coast and in Brisbane, and we've held events on a pop-up event on the Sunshine Coast as well. And the difference that having a community has made for my business has been incredible, and not just for my business, but for other people's business too. I have been privileged to sit back and watch the collaborations and the friendships and people meeting each other, and it has made such a difference in other people's lives. I cannot tell you how wonderful it is to get to see that happen right before my face. Now, if you are in business and you are not already going to some networking events, I encourage you to do this as soon as possible. The networking events are going to be absolute gold for you. Depending on which kind of event you want to go to, maybe it's a casual coffee catch up, or maybe you're going to something with a speaker so you can learn from them. Maybe it's a conference. You could try something like BNI, which is for developing your business and having that referral networking and really focused on the numbers and the data. All of these are a bit different in their style, and so they're going to appeal to different people depending on where you're at with your business and what your goal is for networking. So choose something that aligns with the goal that you have. If you are going to make connections, then maybe something like my event, the Brunch Club, is going to be perfect for that. Perhaps you just have a little bit of time, and so a casual coffee catch up is going to be your first event. You can find these things on Meetup, on Eventbrite, on Facebook. They're everywhere. Type into Google networking events in your area, have a look what's available, and make the commitment to yourself and to your business to start going to these things regularly and to choose a couple of different ones to go to. Now, I know from experience and from the experience of my guests as well, that turning up to an event can be daunting. I get that. So if it is a question of you coming or not, then take a buddy. Go with somebody else if that's going to get you into the event in the first place. If you are going to take a buddy, it is important that you don't use them as a security blanket the whole event. Try and separate and speak to some other people and get to know others, because that's what you're there for. When you are going to these events, I have some tips for you. The first tip is to turn up as yourself. There is no point in putting on a mask and pretending to be someone you're not. By all means, put your best foot forward and make a good impression, but turn up as yourself, as the person that you want to be known for. The next tip I have for you is about conversation. When you are going to these events, it's important that you prepare, have something to say. There is nothing worse than when you are trying to have a conversation with somebody and you ask them, so how are you? What's been happening? And they just say, busy with work. It kills the conversation. So on your way to these networking events, prepare. Have you been working on something lately? Have you had challenges? What are your successes? Are you listening to different podcasts, or have you read a book? Think of things to say so that you have something to contribute to the conversation. And on the other side of that, think of some questions to ask so that you can keep the conversation flowing. While you're preparing for these events, it's important to focus on why you're going. What is the goal you have for this event? Who do you want to meet? What is the conversation that you are looking for? When you prepare yourself for these events, set the intention, and then you have a better chance of having a good time, but you'll also be able to measure how successful this event was for you. Did you get to meet that ideal client, or find that collaborator, or have this conversation? Did you get to learn the thing that you wanted to learn? Meet these people. Having that intention set beforehand is going to set you up for success. The next tip that I have for you is about time management, and that is to turn up on time. Allow plenty of time for things to go wrong, because there's always traffic, an accident. You might not be able to find a park, and what all of these things do is just add to the stress of going to an event in the first place. But what it'll do is just set you up to be anxious and flustered. And there's nothing worse than turning up late and feeling like you're being judged and all of those sorts of things. So if you prepare yourself with a little bit of extra time so you can find a park, maybe you need to take a little walk and just get yourself into networking mode before you walk through those doors. So give yourself that extra time, that extra buffer to make this experience the best it can possibly be for you. I would also recommend that you are aware of your surroundings. Read the room. So if you're having conversations, make sure you're not alienating this one or that one. Make sure you're including other people as well. It is always a good practice to thank the organizer or the team that has put this event on. You want to make sure that even if it's not the event for you, you're saying thank you, because there's a lot of effort that goes on behind the scenes. And also, this will give you an opportunity to give any feedback. Was the food okay? Is it too noisy? Could they have turned the music down? It just opens up a line of communication between you and the organizer. And if it wasn't quite what you were looking for, why not? Having those conversations helps so much. I had an instance recently where the venue that we were going to had a door between the event room and the back of house. And for some reason, the door had been taken off and it was super noisy. We kept getting smoke come through the room. I had to keep opening up the outside doors so that we could clear some of that smoke out. Quite uncomfortable. It was quite distracting as well. And I had somebody that was one of the guests at this event approach me and just say, I really enjoyed it. This was great. That was great. But not being able to hear them and being smoked out by the kitchen was just not it. And so what that meant was I could take care of that person. Yes, absolutely. Wasn't a vibe, didn't enjoy it myself, and reassure them that I had already spoken to the venue and made sure that if that wasn't fixed by the time we had our next event there, that we would be put into another space so that she could come back and be comfortable and enjoy herself. So make sure you're having a conversation with the organizer or the team or the host and thank them, give them any feedback that you need to give them, but obviously do it with kindness. And finally, if you are taking the time to go to these networking events, it's important that you participate. If you are investing your time and your money and you want a return on those investments, then you need to put in what you expect to get out. Engage with the speaker. Answer the questions, talk to other people in the room, choose a couple of people and get to know them, ask them questions, have something to share with them. Really immerse yourself in that experience to get the most out of these networking events that you can. Now, there are obviously more ways than one to do networking. You have the in-person networking events that I've been talking about. Obviously, there's online networks, there's Facebook groups specific to interests and business. There's conferences, larger events. Like I said, there's the BNI style events as well. You have your industry associations. There's also all of your business contacts that you can leverage, as well as your personal contacts, and even heading to some social events. You're not limited in just networking events specific for your business. You have opportunities to meet other business owners everywhere you go. Start off a conversation at your local coffee shop with the person that is behind the counter or owns the business. Everywhere that you go is another way for you to build your network. All it takes is a friendly hello and to get started with a conversation. Thank you for joining me on this episode today. I hope that this is going to help you with networking in your business. I would love to hear if you have some favorite networking events or if you have something coming up. Please come and find me on Instagram at empower.house. I look forward to having you back on the podcast again next time. See you soon. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you enjoyed it, please send this to somebody who you think will enjoy it too. Don't forget to leave a review so I can reach more people just like you.